Hi, everybody. This is Elenbaas from Nightlight Astrology, and these are your horoscopes for the month of June 2019. So this is the Sun and Rising sign horoscope for Libras. And I'm going to try to do these in 5 minutes or less this month. I'm coming in at the coming in under the wire here after a month of May in which I was preparing for a big professional conference that I was presenting at. So these are a little rushed this month, but thankfully, the transits are organized into two handy little clusters, so I'm going to talk about both of them. The first one and the big one for all the cardinal signs is the slow, long process of Mars opposing Saturn and Pluto, which is it's like a slow burn. And this really takes place between the 13th and the 21st of June, so that's the period right in the middle of the month up to about the summer solstice where you're really going to feel it. Mars is in its fall in your 10th house of career. That can really stir up some drama in terms of, what's really on display in your life is usually showing itself in the 10th house, what you're really preoccupied with at work or what's occupying your time, day in and day out. It's the work house in terms of your career occupation or what you're doing with the bulk of your time. So Mars and Cancer up there, a little bit more emotionally volatile, emotionally confrontational, and can bring up the need to cut ties or bonds or sever cords, so to speak, in relationships. It can be pretty moody, so you got to be careful of those dynamics this month, especially around communication right around the summer solstice. It could be a pretty intense, kind of conflicted moment for Mars and Mercury. It's also because they're opposing Saturn and Pluto down in the 4th house of home and family. So is there some kind of standoff or oppositional tension between work and between the home and family or domestic sphere of life this month? Probably that's what it looks like. So you might have to ride out a bit of a storm between those two areas of life this month, especially between the 13th and the 21st. Now, beyond this, the other major transit of the month involves a series of T-squares happening between planets in Gemini, opposing Jupiter in Sagittarius, and squaring Neptune and Pisces. Now, this starts with the new moon in Gemini on June 3rd, continues with the sun opposing Jupiter and squaring Neptune around the 9th and 10th. The full moon in Sagittarius activates it around the 17th, and then Venus in Gemini will eventually activate it again around the 22nd or 23rd. So all month long. All month long, T-squares between house 9, 3, and 6 with a lot of Jupiter and Neptune involved. So what does that mean? Well, these houses collectively have a lot to do with, let's say, how our beliefs, our thoughts, our ideas, and our sense of moral, spiritual, or intellectual responsibility plays out, especially during times where there's a lot of hard work, there's difficulties, there's health problems, there's conflicts, or there's some kind of setback. Those are all 6th house things. 6th house is the house of, it was called the house of bad fortune. And it generally pertains to either a lot of hard work and hard labor, which can be productive and good, or service to those who are suffering, sickness, disease. It's also related to slavery. I mean, it's a difficult house. The 3rd and the 9th house, on the other hand, both have a lot to do with our mind and what we believe and what we think, and also what kinds of things we are responsible for, or what kinds of principles govern our action, both in the big kind of cosmic sense and also in the local kind of everyday sense. So that's why I said could be a really sort of philosophically illuminating month, could be learning a lot, could be wanting to put your beliefs into practical service in the world, a kind of humanitarian or kind of a spirit of compassion, wanting to help people, that could be present. Finding new teachers, going through a little bit of a crisis of faith or working through different kinds of doubts. But also maybe reclaiming faith or renewing one's sense of hope or optimism and wanting to pitch in and help, or finding practical applications for ideas that you're learning about. Maybe even travel with the 3rd and 9th houses emphasized. Neptune in the midst of it and a lot of Jupiter can make things a little bit more idealistic than maybe they should be, or can indicate some desire to take shortcuts that you shouldn't, or may have you, especially considering Mars, Mars's presence in Cancer opposing Saturn and Pluto, it could have you sort of on a mission and a little, be careful of becoming a fundamentalist a little bit this month. That's the basic thing. So that's what I've got for you, Libras. Please let me know how it goes. I think once you hit the summer solstice and Cancer sun moves into your 10th house, bringing kind of that life-giving, watery energy to the career house, I think things will be start to smooth over by then. Has the potential to be a little bit more tumultuous all the way up till the summer solstice, though. This month, I think, is going to be pretty powerful for everybody. Like, you're going to see this month in the news for sure. So, all right, that's what I've got this month. When I say that, by the way, I say that sometimes people are like, well, isn't that every month that you see it in the news? But no, some months are like, you know, the headlines scream the astrology. And I get the feeling that's the kind of month it's going to be. All right, Libras, that is all. I will see you next month for eclipse season. Take care. Bye.